Welcome to module number 9, Taking Charge. The basic rule is to follow the children's lead along with their interest, at least until you have a good reason to jump in and begin leading. So when would you need to jump in and begin to lead? When the child is either stuck in repetitive play or stuck in what to play, that's a great time. You may need to take charge only for a moment to redirect the child's mind and attention to help them get unstuck. You'll then allow the child to become in charge again, and we begin to follow their interests and play once again. Ways to take charge. Offer a gentle push, not physically but redirecting their mind. The way this is achieved is by joining in with the child's activity and changing it slightly by asking a simple question. Or you can make a comment to break the child's pattern like, "Shall we play football outside?" Another way, number 2, is insist on making connections. With babies, it's easier to connect with them. However, once they get older, they don't tell us that they still need to connect with us. It becomes our job to take the lead and insist on it. There are ways to connect with your child. Hugging is the best method, but make sure it's not forced. Looking into each other's eyes builds a deep connection. Shaking hands is another way. Playful wrestling, and one that every child loves to do and is the easiest method, a high five. We must assume the need for more affection is behind their rejecting and behavior. If you find they tune us out when we have taken the time to play with them after they've demanded it, this means they're annoyed with us for not connecting sooner. Be persistent and gently push for connection. Children can release painful emotions through crying, tantrums, kicking, screaming, and we need to understand that this is just them releasing their internal pressures of annoyance that has built up. This clears the way for them to get back to the normal state. We must understand at this moment and control our emotion to a neutral state, which we can do by being aware that your child is just offloading, just like we all do when we are speaking to our adult partners or friends about something that annoyed you. There are 4 main things that we must be aware of when we are insisting on making connection. First one is to overcome fear. For example, of dogs that your child may have. We must go with them to the edge of this fear, the point they don't want to go beyond, and stay at the edge until they are ready to go closer. We never want to forcefully push them past this point until they are ready, because the trust they have with you will be broken. They need us nearby to feel safe. We need to constantly be aware of their facial expression and body reactions, and if they are getting upset. This is the edge point that we want them to be near. Second thing to be aware of whilst making connection is, do they have a fear of connection? Now, Martha Walsh's controversial book, Holding Time, advocates that the adult physically holds the child through the child's struggle to resist. This builds a connection. Firm holding calms violent and agitated children. Contact, firm pressure, and safety helps organizes the child's impulses. This is not to punish or assert control. This is something we must understand. What this is to enable them to release emotions that interfere with connecting whilst being in the safety of your arms. The third one is superficial connection. Now, this is very important. Adults usually settle for a superficial level of connection, like disrupting the child's play or jumping in with energy just for the moment to excite the child, and then dashing off because you remember you have something more important to do. The child's annoyance or joy of the high energy is seen as connection, but the adult may have fulfilled their own need for connection. However, left the child at the start line when they were just about to begin their feeling of connection. Done often, the child will begin to reject the adult. If we are at that stage now with our child, we must not give up after rejection. By being aware, we must continue with fulfilling the child's connection by continuing to invite or staying close to them and being in the moment with them. For them, children will realize quickly that you're not going anywhere and drop the barrier to allow you back in. Fourth thing to remember about taking charge and connection is saying no. Sometimes we have to say no, and this is good for the child. If the child wants something badly and gets it, then decides they want something else badly enough and gets that, and then wants something else, they are in a spiral of I want, I want, I want. This is where we need to break the pattern by saying no and explain why you said no. If they keep trying dangerous, destructive, or hurtful activities, saying no provides the resistance that allows the child permission to let out the feelings they have inside as a tantrum or tears. This tantrum or tears of releasing emotions is because they don't have the ability to talk directly about how they're feeling. By being caring and compassionate at this moment allows the tantrum to run its course. And once all the feelings are out, your child will immediately change back to normal and want to play or do something positive. Number 3, challenge them playfully by being play obstructive. This means obstructing their play playfully to help them move forward, like if they're playing with cars and repetitively keep doing the same thing. You can see they're stuck. This is when you can jump in with your own car and cause a pretend collision. This will break the pattern the child may be stuck in. For physical challenges, you must join in with them and structure it playfully rather than forbidding it. Like if they're playing dangerously throwing metal toys, you can swap the metal toy, for clothes, so they are not dangerous and won't hurt anyone. Number 4, introduce important themes. Include problem areas into play with a light touch. If a child plays out the same thing or same theme over and over, then become a character in the play and introduce changes to turn the situation around. This is role play. You become the character and take charge for the moment whilst you're playing with your child. For example, another example is racism. You can get a doll who says to a frog, "You're green, I don't want to play with you." You can teach through play on how sad the frog felt and what benefits the frog can be to the doll when the doll is in trouble or needs help. Finally, number 5, make it fun. Parents resort to bribes, which are not the same as figuring out how to make something fun. Bribing children with toys and sweets allows the child to think they can get everything they want if they continue to act the way they are acting. If we end up reinforcing the behavior we don't want through bribing, will be a never-ending problem for us and for the child. The child wants fun. Fun is their ground. The fun is their world. And that's where we have to enter the world and help them and teach them life skills.